Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopikante Radhakante Namostute Tapta Kanchan Gorangi Radhe Vrindaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Che Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jai Mudire Tulsi Radhe Gurukananda Bhagwan Ki Jai तो श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा जय हरे कृष्णा निशा
Hare Krishna.
कृष्णा लोग प्रेम से
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
रीना जी हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna, uncle.
Oh, hi, how are you, brother?
Good. How are you?
Good. Nice to hear your voice. Can come on camera as well. Happy Thanksgiving. You're home on during Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yep. Happy Thanksgiving.
Nice. Very nice. All right. So we'll get started. कल हम लोग अध्याय 12 पढ़ रहे हैं एंड जैसा कि हम लोग वी आर रीडिंग द फाइट बिटवीन वृतासुर एंड इंद्रदेव सो इंद्रदेव और वृतासुर के बीच में जो फाइट चल रही है उसमें इन लास्ट श्लोक what we read and then within this श्लोक वृतासुर expands his mouth, right? Expands his mouth from bhumi to sky. That's the demon, that's Vritashur, right? And then he swallows Lord Indra. Yeah, says here like Vrita Gristam Tamalokya Sa Prajapatah Shura. So after he does that, then Prajapati is like that's Lord Brahma and other greatly sent persons, right? When they see that Indra had been swallowed by the demon, they became very morose and they lamented, what a calamity, what a calamity. Yeah. So that's what we have been reading. We'll start from Shlok 31st. Prem sir.
Niginor Surendra na mama mamarudaram gata Mahapurush Sannidho Yoga Maya Balencha. The protective armor of Narayana, which Indra possessed, was identical with Narayana himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Protected by that armor and by his own mystic power, King Indra, although swallowed by Vitasura, did not die within the demon's belly. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So even though Lord Indra was swallowed by Vritashur, because he's been protected by the Narayan Kavach, right? And we had read that, and actually आज हम लोग सुनेंगे Narayan Kavach at the end of the session. Yeah, we'll hear Narayan Kavach again. And with his Yog Maya, he did not die within the demon's belly. Yeah. Ajay?
Vitva Vajrena Tatkursham Nishkramya Balbhid Vibhu Uch Kartah Shirah Shatru Girin Shangam Mivojasa. With his thunderbolt, King Indra, who was also extremely powerful, pierced through Vritashur's abdomen
and came out. Indra, the killer of the demon Bala, then immediately cut off Vritrasur's head, which was as high as the peak of a mountain. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Indra Dev comes out of the abdomen and then he takes off the head of Vritrasura. Rinaji, or better I'll read.
Vajrastu tat kandharam ashuvega krintan samantat parivartamana nya patayat tavad ahar ganena yo jyotisham ayane vartrahatya. Although the thunderbolt revolved around Vritrasur's neck with great speed, separating his head from his body took one complete year, 360 days, the time in which the sun, moon, and other luminaries complete a northern and southern journey. Then, at the suitable time for Vritrasur to be killed, his head fell to the ground.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So it took 360 days to take his head off. Yeah. And then Jyotisa Mayane Vatra Hatte. So then depending on the right suitable time, yeah, Vritrasura got killed. Yeah. Anisha.
तदाच खे दुन्दुभयो विनेदुर्गन्धर्वसिद्धाः समहर्षि सङ्गा वात्रघ्नलिङ्गे स्तमभिष्टुवाना मन्त्रैर्मुदा कुसुमैरभ्यवर्षन्. When Vritrasura was killed, the Gandharvas and the Siddhas in the heavenly planets beat kettle drums in jubilation. With Vedic hymns, they celebrated the prowess of Indra, the killer of Vritrasura, praising Indra and showering flowers upon him with great pleasure. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Gandharvas and Siddhas who live in the higher planets than the earth, right? So they all in the heavenly planets celebrated the victory of Indra Dev. Yeah, Tarun?
One second. Vastrasya dehan nishkrantam atmajyotir arindama pasyatam sarvadevanam alokam samapadyata. O King Parikshit, subduer of enemies, the living spark then came forth from Vritrasura's body and returned home back to Godhead. While all the demigods looked on, he entered the transcendental world to become an associate of Lord Sankarsana. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So Vritrasura returned home. Yeah. Returning home is returning back to Godhead. Back to Godhead. Yeah. Vritrasura, even though being demon, we read his transcendental messages, right? We saw how he was talking to Indradev and he knew that his death is certain because of that vraj, and he knew Lord Vishnu had given that vraj to Indradev. So he knew that and he entered there. He focused his mind on the Vasudev's lotus feet and he became an associate of Lord Sankarsana, yeah, who is incarnation of Lord Krishna himself. Yeah. Okay, so that's how Vritrasura gets killed and then he goes back to Godhead. And this ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the 6th canto, 12th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Vritrasura's Glorious Death. Yeah. Hello, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Yeah, so we complete the 12th adhyay and now we are going to start the 13th adhyay, which is about King Indra afflicted by sinful reaction. Right? So King Indra kills Vritrasura. But what we are going to read is what happens next and why he killed Vritrasura and what happens next. Yeah. So we'll continue reading with text 1. Sri Shukvacha Vitre hate trayo loka vinashakrena bhurida sapalari bhavan sadhyo vijvarani vritendriya Sri Sukdev Goswami said, O King Parikshit, who are so charitably disposed, when Vritasur was killed, all the presiding deities and everyone else in the three planetary systems was immediately pleased and free from trouble, everyone, that is, except Indra. So what, and as we know, the Srimad Bhagavatam is being read by Sukdev Goswami ji to Parikshit Maharaj, and Sukdev Goswami ji is telling Parikshit Maharaj that when Vritasur was killed, everybody in the three planetary system was happy, but not Indradev. Yeah. So he's telling this to Parikshit Maharaj. Continue reading. Prem.
Devarshi Prit Bhutani Datya Deva Guna Swayam Prati Jagmu Swadhinas Yani Brahmeshedra Yasattat. Thereafter, the demigods, the great saintly persons, the inhabitants of Pitraloka and Bhutaloka, the demons, the followers of the demigods, and also Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and the demigods subordinate to Indra, all returned to their respective homes. While departing, however, no one spoke to Indra. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Just read this part quickly. Mithu.
In this connection, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments, Brahmeshendradradaya iti Indrasya swadhishnya gamanam nopapadyate vrita vadhakshana eva brahma hatyopadrava prapte. Tashmat tata iti anena manasas sarovarad agatya pravartitad asvamedhat parat iti vyakhyayam. Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and the other demigods returned to their respective abodes, but Indra did not, for he was disturbed at having killed Vritasur, who was actually a Brahmana. After killing Vritasur, Indra went to the Mansarovar lake to become free from sinful reactions. When he left the lake, he performed an Asvamedha Yajna and then returned to his own abode.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So Vritasur was actually a Brahman, right? How was that? Because his father was Tvasta, right? Who was actually on the Devata's side. And when he was doing the Yajna, that's when Vritasur was born. He was brother of, in that sense, Rishi Vishwarup, right? And that's why Vritasur was born, to take revenge of Rishi Vishwarup. Yeah. So, let's continue reading. Ajay.
Shri Rajovach Indrasyan Vrite Hutam Shrotumichhami Bho Mune Yenasan Sukhino Deva Hare Dukham Krito Bhavat. Maharaja Parikshit inquired from Sukdev Goswami, O great sage, what was the reason for Indra's unhappiness? I wish to hear about this. When he killed Vritasur, all the demigods were extremely happy. Why then was Indra himself unhappy? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so Parikshit Maharaj is asking, Hare Dukham Kuto Bhavata. Like, why was Indradev not happy? Is what Parikshit Maharaj is asking to whom? Sukdev Goswami ji, right? Who is reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. Yeah. Nisha?
Shri Shuka Uvacha Ritra Vikram Samvignaha Sarve Devaha Saharshibhya Tadvadhayarthaya Nindram Naichat Bhito Bruhadvadhat. Sri Sukadeva Goswami answered, when all the great sages and demigods were disturbed by the extraordinary power of Vritasur, they had assembled to ask Indra to kill him. Indra, however, being afraid of killing a Brahman, declined their request. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So what Shukdev Goswami is saying is that before the war started between Vritrashur and Indradev, right? All the devatas wanted Indradev to kill Vritrashur, but Indradev actually declined. He did not want to really kill Vritrashur. Yeah. Tarun?
Indravacha Stribhudhurma Jaler Ino Visavarna Varupa Vadhodagvam Vigbhaktam Anugrahanabhir Vatrahatyam Kwa Marjmi Aham. King Indra replied, when I killed Vishwarupa, I received extensive sinful reactions, but I was favored by the women, land, trees, and water, and therefore I was able to divide the sin among them. But now if I kill Vitrasura, another Brahmana, how shall I free myself from the sinful reactions? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So Indradev is saying when he killed Vishwarup, he received extensive sinful reactions. Why is that? Why did he get the extensive sinful reactions? Yeah, because Rishi, Vishwarup was a Rishi, right? He was a Rishi, highest tapasvi, highest Vaishnav, right? Brahman. That is what the Brahman is. Not because he was born in a Brahman, but because he was Brahman, he was a Vaishnav. And if you kill a Vaishnav, yeah, that's like a Brahmahatya. And he had extensive sinful reactions. But then, if you remember, we read, right? Then he was favored by the woman, land, trees, and water, right? So he divided his sin among women, land, trees, and water. Yeah, and then he gave benediction to each of them. Yeah, so for example, to trees, trees took the sin. So it says like there's some liquid which comes out of the trees cannot be eaten or cannot be drank, and that was the sinful reaction. But then tree got a benediction from Lord Indra that every time they cut the leaves, right, and all that, it will come back. So that was a benediction trees got. Similarly, between water, like if there are like bubbles and all that, you cannot drink that water. And and then in spite of that, then Lord Indra gave a benediction to water that if you add water to anything, that quantity will go up. So like that, to land, why there is a desert area is because of that sinful reaction which earth also shared with Indradev. And then Indradev, gave some benediction to the land that every time, those patches will happen, it will get filled by itself and things like that. Right? And similarly, he gave some benediction to women, and then they also shared some sinful reactions. So what Indradev is saying that by killing Vishwarup, it worked out because everyone helped him in sharing the sinful reaction. But if he does it again to Vritrashur, who is another Brahman, how he is going to be free from sinful reactions. So that's what he's asking. Mitu?
Shri Sukha Uvacha Rishayas Tad Upakarnya Mahendram Idam Abhuvan Yajasyama Bhadram Te Hayamedhina Ma Samabhay. Sri Sukadev Goswami said, hearing this, the great sages replied to King Indra, O King of heaven, all good fortune unto you. Do not fear. We shall perform an Asmaveda sacrifice to release you from any sin you may accrue by killing the Brahmana.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. So what is being mentioned is once you do Aswamedha Yajna, then you can be released from any sins, and we will do the Aswamedha Yajna for you, is what is being mentioned. Hai Meghena Purusham Paramatmanamishwaram Istva Narayanam Devam Moksha Se Api Jagat Vadat. The rishis continued, O King Indra, by performing an Aswamedha Yajna sacrifice and thereby pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Super Soul, Lord Narayan, the supreme controller, one can be relieved even of the sinful reactions for killing the entire world, not to speak of killing a demon like Vritasura. Yeah. So that's how rishis are pursuing Indradev to kill Vritasura. They are saying, like, if you do Ashwamedh Yajna, yeah, which is Paramatma, right? Ishwaram, Istva, Narayanam Devam, yeah, then entire Jagat, even if you kill the whole world, that also can be relieved from the sinful reactions. So Vritasura is just a demon, is what is being mentioned by the rishis to Indradev. Yeah. Nisha?
ब्रह्मा पितृः भोग्नो मातृहाचार्य हागवान् श्वादः पुलस्कस्को वापि शुद्धेरन यस्य कीर्तनात् तमश्वमेधेन महामखेन श्रद्धान्वितो अस्माभिरनुष्ठितेन हत्वापि स ब्रह्मचराचरं त्वं न लिप्यसे किं खलनिग्रहेण. One who was killed a Brahman, one who has killed a cow, or one who has killed his father, mother, or spiritual master can be immediately freed from all sinful reactions simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Narayan. Other sinful persons, such as dog eaters, Kandalas, who are less than Shudras, can also be freed in this way. But you are a devotee and we shall help you by performing the great horse sacrifice. If you please Lord Narayan in that way, why should you be afraid? You will be freed even if you kill the entire universe, including the Brahmins, not to speak of killing a disrupting demon like Vratasura. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And who is saying this? Who is talking right now?
The sages.
The demigods?
The sages, right? Yeah, the rishis and of course the demigods and the rishis to Indradev, right? So they are encouraging him to go ahead and kill Vritasura, right? Yeah. Yeah. Prem?
Shrishukuvacha evam sanchodito viprem maru twan anidrapum brahmahatya hate tasminad sada sasad vrishakpim. Sri Sukdev Goswami said, encouraged by the words of the sages, Indra killed Vritasura. And when he was killed, the sinful reaction for killing a Brahmana, Brahmatya, certainly took shelter of Indra.
Hare Krishna. So Sri Sukdev Goswami is saying that, so finally we saw the war between Vritasura and Indra. Indra, they have killed Vritasura, but yeah, he is definitely feeling the pain of doing Brahmahatya. Yeah. Let's just read this purport, Tarun.
After killing Vritasura, Indra could not surpass the Brahmahatya, the sinful reactions for killing a Brahmana. Formerly, he had killed one Brahmana, Vishwarupa, out of circumstantial anger, but this time, following the advice of the sages, he killed another Brahmana purposely. Therefore, the sinful reaction was greater than before. Indra could not be relieved from the reaction simply by performing sacrifices for atonement. He had to undergo a severe series of sinful reactions, and when he was freed by such suffering, the Brahmanas allowed him to perform the horse sacrifice. The planned execution of sinful deeds on the strength of chanting the holy name of the Lord or undergoing prashchita, atonement, cannot give relief to anyone, even to Indra or Nahusa. Nahusa was officiating for Indra, while Indra, absent from heaven, was going here and there to gain release from his sinful reactions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what is being mentioned, right? The important part here is it doesn't matter who is who, right? Even Indra, who is the king of all devatas, right? The wrong karmas, yeah, the reactions has to be there. That's what is being mentioned, right? So sinful deeds on the strength of chanting the holy name of the Lord or undergoing atonement cannot give relief to anyone, even to Indra or Nahus, and Nahus will read about him, right? So karma's reactions are going to be there, is what is being mentioned. Yeah. Mitu?
Yendra smasah tapam nirvritir namam avishat Srimantam Vachyatam Praptam Sukhayanti Api no Guna. Following the advice of the demigods, Indra killed Vritasur, and he suffered because of this sinful killing. Although the other demigods were happy, he could not derive happiness from the killing of Vritasur. Indra's other good qualities, such as tolerance and opulence, could not help him in his grief.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. What he's saying is one cannot be happy by committing sinful acts, even if one is endowed with material opulence. Indra found this to be true. People began to blaspheme him, saying, "This person has killed a Brahman for the sake of enjoying heavenly material happiness." Therefore, in spite of being king of heaven and enjoying material opulence, Indra was always unhappy because of the accusations of the populace. Yeah. Ajay?
तां दद शार्णुधावन्ति चाण्डालिमिव रूपिणीं जर्या वेपमानाङ्गी ग्रस्तामसकृत्पटां विक्रीय परितां केशांस्तिष्ठति भाषणीं मीनगन्धसुगन्धेन कुर्वती मार्गदूषणम्. Indra saw personified sinful reaction chasing him, appearing like a Chandal woman, a woman of the lowest class. She seemed very old and all the limbs of her body trembled. Because she was afflicted with tuberculosis, her body and garments were covered with blood, breathing an unbearable fishy odor that polluted the entire street. She called to Indra, "Wait, wait." Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Nisha?
नभो गतो दिशः सर्वाः सहस्राक्षो विशाम्पते प्रागुदीचिं दिशं तृणं प्रविष्टो नृपमानसम्. O King Indra first fled to the sky, but there also he saw the women of personified sin chasing him, this which followed him wherever he went. At last he very quickly went to the northeast and entered the Manasarovar lake. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so Indra finally enters the Manasam, yeah, Mansarovar lake. Yeah. Varun?
Sat aswasat pushkara nalatantu alabdha bhogyo yat ihagni duta varsani sahasram alakshito nantaha sanchintanam brahma vadhat vimoskasam. Always thinking of how he could be relieved from the sinful reaction for killing a Brahmana, King Indra, invisible to everyone, lived in the lake for 1,000 years in the subtle fibers of the stem of a lotus. The fire god used to bring him his share of all yajnas, but because the fire god was afraid to enter the water, Indra was practically starving. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so Indra living for 1,000 years in the shuttle fiber of the stem of a lotus. Yeah. तावत् त्रिनाकं नहुषः सशास विद्यातको योग बलानुभाव ससंपदेश्वर्य मदान्ध बुद्धि नेतस्तिक्षाम गति मिंद्र पत्न्या. As long as King Indra lived in the water, wrapped in the stem of the lotus, Nahus was equipped with the ability to rule the heavenly kingdom. Due to his knowledge, austerity, and mystic power, Nahus, however, blinded and maddened by power and opulence, made undesirable proposals to Indra's wife with a desire to enjoy her. Thus, Nahus was cursed by a Brahman and later became a snake. Prem?
Tato gato brahma giropat rishtabhyar dhyana nivaridhat papastu digdevtya atoja stana nabhya vibhuvida vita Vishnu patnya. Indra's sin were diminished by the influence of Rudra, the demigod of all directions, because Indra was protected by the goddess of fortune, Lord Vishnu's wife, who resides in the lotus clusters of Manasarovar lake. Indra's sins could not affect him. Indra was ultimately relieved of all the reactions of his sinful deeds by strictly worshipping Lord Vishnu. Then he was called back to the heavenly planets by the Brahmanas and reinstated in his position. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so after Indradev, he was for more than 1,000 years in the lake Mansarovar, the Manas lake, right? And then he was relieved of the sinful deeds. And then he was called by the Brahmins and he was reinstated as the Lord of all the Devatas of the heaven. Mithu? Mithu, you are there?
Yes, Bhaiya, this is Reena.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Tam cha brahmarshyo abhyetya hayamedhen bharat yathavadik chakru purusharadhanena ha. O king, when Lord Indra reached the heavenly planets, the saintly Brahmanas approached him and properly initiated him into a horse sacrifice, Ashwamedh Yagya, meant to please the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Rasiksha Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
अथेजमाने पुरुषे सर्वदेवयात्मनि अश्वमेधे महेन्द्रेण बीतते ब्रह्मवादिभिः स वै त्वष्ट्रेवदे भूयानामपि पापचयो नृप नीतस्तनैव शून्याय निहार इव भानुना. The horse sacrifice performed by the saintly Brahmans relieved Indra from the reaction to all his sins because he worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the sacrifice. O king, although he had committed a gravely sinful act, it was nullified at once by that sacrifice, just as a fox is vanquished by the brilliant sunrise. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, says here, Sunyaya Nihara Eva Bhanuna. Yeah, like in the fog when the sun comes, in the similar fashion, Indradev's sinful reactions got relieved, got vanquished. Sevaji Meghena Yathoditena Vitayamanena Marichi Mishre Istavagi Yagyam Purusham Purana Mindro Mahanasa Vidhuta Papa. King Indra was favored by Marichi and the other great sages. They performed the sacrifice just according to the rules and regulations, worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Super Soul, the original person. Thus, Indra regained his exalted position and was again honored by everyone. Yeah. So this is how Indradev got back his original position. Yeah. Nisha?
Idam mahakyanam shesha papmanam prakshalanam tirtha padanu kirtanam bhaktushrayam भक्तजनानुवर्णनं महेन्द्रमोक्षं विजयं मरुत्वतः पठेयुराख्यानमिदं सदा बुद्धाः शृण्वन्त्यथो पर्वणीन्द्रियम् धन्यं यशस्यं निखिलाघमोचनं रिपुञ्जयं स्वस्त्ययनं तथायुषम्. In this very great narrative, there is a glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan. There are statements about the exaltedness of devotional service. There are descriptions of devotees like Indra and Vratasur, and there are statements about the King Indra's release from the sinful life and about his victory in fighting the demons. By understanding this incident, one is relieved of all sinful reactions. Therefore, the learned are always advised to read this narration. If one does so, one will become expert in these activities of the senses, his opulences will increase, and his reputation will become widespread. One will also be relieved of all sinful reactions. He will conquer all his enemies, and the duration of his life will increase. Because his narration is auspicious in all respects, learned scholars regularly hear and repeat it on every festival day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so that's the importance of reading all these adhyayas of Srimad Bhagavatam, of the episode between Indradev and Vritasur. Yeah. And thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 6th canto, 13th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled King Indra Afflicted by Sinful Reaction. Bolo Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
jai. So we completed 13th chapter, and then the next chapter is King Chitraketu's lamentation. That's the 14th one, and this is who was Vritasur really, is what is being told now, right? Like, why was Vritasur there? Why did he go back to Godhead? What had happened? So that's a previous story. We are going to read from chapter 14, but we'll pause right now. Yeah. And since it's about time, I think we can pause now, right? It's 10:23. Unless we want to read for 1 more hour. So let's pause. We'll, of course, it's a Thanksgiving week. So I think we'll take a break and then meet again on Monday. But before that, let's hear Narayan Kavach. This whole thing we have been reading like last 4 or 5 guys. The importance of Narayan Kavach and how he saw like Indradev got into the abdomen of Vritasur, and he still is survived because he was protected by the he's protected by the Narayan Kavach. Yeah. So let's hear the Narayan Kavach and then we'll talk again. Yeah. So let's do that.
पदगेन्द्रपृष्ठे दरारिचर्मासि गदेषु चाप पाशां दधानोष्टगुणोष्टबाहो जलेषु मां रक्षतु मत्स्यमूर्तिर्यादो गणेभ्यो वरुणस्य पाशा स्थलेषु मायावटु मामनोव्यात् त्रिविक्रमः केवलवेश्वरूपः दुर्गे स्फुटप्रादिमुखादिषु प्रभो आयान्नसिंहोऽसुरयूथपारिः विमुञ्चतो यस्य महाट्टहासम् दिशो विनेदुर्न्यपतश्च गर्भाः रक्षत्वसौमाध्वनियज्ञकल्पः स्वतस्तयोन्नीतधरो वराः रामोऽग्निकूटे स्वथ विप्रवासे स लक्ष्मणोऽव्याद्भरताग्रजोऽस्मान् मामुग्रधर्मादखिलात् प्रमादान् नारायणः पातु नरश्च हासात् दत्तस्त्वयोगादथ योगनाथ आयाद्गुणेशः कपिलः कर्मबन्धा सनत्कुमारो वतु कामदेवात् दयशीर्षा मां पथि देवहेलनात् देवर्षिवया पुरुषार्चनान्तरात् कूर्मो हरिर्मां निरयादशेषात् धन्वन्तरिर्भगवान् पात्वपथ्यात् द्वन्द्वाद्भयाद्वृषभो निर्जितात्मा यज्ञस्य लोकादवताज्जनान्तात् बलो गणात् क्रोधवशादहीन्द्रः द्वैपायनो भगवान् प्रबोधात् बुद्धस्तु पाखण्डगणात् प्रमादात् कल्किः कलेः कालमलात्तपातु धर्मावनायोरुकृतावतारः मां केशवो गदया भ्रातरव्यात् गोविन्दासङ्गवमात्तदैव नारायणः प्राण उदात्तशक्ते मध्यन्तिने विष्णुररीन्द्रपाणिः देवोपरार्णे मधुः प्रधन्वा सायं त्रिधामावतु माधवो दोषे ऋषिकेश उतार्धराष्ट्रे निशीथैकोवतु पद्मनाभः श्रीवत्सधामा पररात्रैषः प्रत्यूषैषोषिधरो जनार्दनः दामोदरो व्यादनुसन्ध्यं प्रभाते विश्वेश्वरो भगवान् कालमूर्तिः चक्रं युगान्तानलतिग्मनेमि भ्रमत्कमन्ताद् भगवत्प्रयुक्तम् दन्दग्निदं जग्निसैन्यमासु कक्षं यथा वातसखो हुताशः गदेश निस्पर्शन विस्फुलिङ्गे निष्पीड्य जितप्रियाधि कूष्माण्डवैनायकयक्षरक्षो भूतग्रहाश्चूर्णय चूर्णयारि त्वं यादुधानप्रमथ पेत्रमातृ पिशाच विप्रग्रह घोरदृष्टि दरेन्द्रविद्रावय कृष्णपूरितो भीमस्वनोरेर्हृदयानि कम्पयन् त्वं तिग्मधाराशिवरारिसैन्य मीशप्रयुक्तो मम छिन्दि छिन्दि चक्षुंसि चरमक्षतचन्द्रछादय विषामघोनां हरपापचक्षुषा यन्नो भयं ग्रहेभ्यो भूतेतुभ्यो नृभ्य एव च सरीसृपेभ्यो दंष्ट्रेभ्यो भूतेभ्यो भूभ्यैव वा सर्वाण्येतानि भगवन्नामरूपास्त्रकीर्तनात् प्रयान्तु संशयं सद्यो येन श्रेयः प्रदीपकाः गरुडो भगवान् स्तोत्रस्तो वच्चन्तो मयः प्रभो रक्षत्वशेषो विश्वक्सेन स्वनामभिः सर्वापद्भ्यो हरिर्नामरूपया नायुधानिनः बुद्धीन्द्रियमनः प्राणान् पान्तु पार्षदभूषणा यथा हि भगवानेव वस्तुतः सदसच्चयत् सत्येनानेन नः सर्वे यान्तु नाशमुपद्रवाः यथैकात्म्यानुभावानां विकल्परहितः स्वयं भूषणायुधलिङ्गाख्या धत्ते शक्ति स्वमायया तेनैव सत्यमानेन सर्वज्ञो भगवान् हरिः पातु सर्वैश्वरूपेण सदा सर्वत्र सर्वगः विदिक्षु दिक्षोर्ध्वमदः समन्तात् अन्तर्बहिर्भगवान् नारसिंहः प्रहापयन् लोकभयं स्वनेन स्वतेजसा ग्रस्तसमस्ततेजा
Okay, that ends. There was the Narayan Kavach. Wow, beautifully sung, right? So cool. I think tomorrow is pre-Thanksgiving, so we'll take a pause, right? I'll meet on Monday again. Shiksham Prabhuji, want to say anything?
नहीं, आज कुछ नहीं.
All right, so I think, so if everyone knows, I think Rasiksham Prabhuji, right? So Rasiksham Prabhuji is a disciple of Radhanath Swami Maharaj. If you have heard about Radhanath Swami Maharaj, is based on Chopati's temple, Hare Krishna Chopati temple. Recently when I think Modi ji visited, right? We had a dinner in White House. Radhanath Swami Maharaj was invited there as well, just to like, he's pretty high level up in the ISKCON society. But anyway, so we are so fortunate to have, you know, blessings of Rasiksham Prabhuji. Thank you so much. And I know it's all holiday season is starting. So enjoy Thanksgiving. Thanks to Hare Krishna. Anyone wants to say anything? Any questions? Otherwise, we'll start on Monday. Anything? Any comments?
Thank you very much for organizing and having it.
It's
having
all
us attend all this glorious kirtan.
yeah.
Plus one to Reenaji's comment.
It's thank you to everyone. If everyone joins in, I think it's so nice to read, right? There's so much. Like this Narayan Kavach, if you see, it covers all avatars of Lord Vishnu. True. And all the cantos, every time we have been reading, there's so much bhakti of Lord Narayan, Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna, right? It's just full of it in the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. Like we have just read again and again and again and again. It is so blissful. Amazing. So cool. Thank you, everyone. And then we'll see you tomorrow break. So we'll see you on Monday next week, 9:30 p.m. Yeah?
Hare Krishna.
All right.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.